Network is brought to you by our sponsors. Visit and let them know you heard about them here on the Awakened Radio Network. Do you have health or medical problems the regular medical system cannot seem to figure out how to fix? If the answer is yes, then check out RifeEnergyMedicine.com. That is Rife spelled R-I-F-E. RifeEnergyMedicine.com for a new way to approach many of your health problems. RifeEnergyMedicine.com. Are you looking for a fun and easy and productive way to promote and advertise your personally owned business? If so, the Awakened Radio Network just might have the solution for you. Visit awakenedradio.net and look up under our products and services tab. Or add Awakened Radio to your Skype contact and send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message. Or you can add DonnaDevane@gmail.com to your email contacts and send Donna an email letting her know that you would like to set a time to go over how to advertise your business in a way that makes getting sales easy without the struggle and a whole lot of fun. Do you have a message, something that just burns within you that you couldn't stop talking about even if someone offered to pay you to? Well, you just might be the type of host that we're looking for here on the Awakened Radio Network. Add Awakened Radio to your Skype contacts or send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message, DonnaDevane@gmail.com. And let's set up a time to talk and see if you and Awakened Radio Network are on the same consciousness wavelength. We might can work together and provide a win-win where your message goes out on our airwaves, reaching our global listeners, bringing fun, self-growth, and a whole lot of excitement to both your life and the Awakened Radio family.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Pernilla Lila Rose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Hello, my friends, and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show. I had a little bit of a surprise just a moment ago because I couldn't hear any of the sound that came through, and I thought, uh-oh, because Donna just told me that there's a big storm in Alabama, and if it reaches the station, we might lose contact. So if that happens, you'll know why. It's not because I don't want to talk to you anymore or anything like that. It's simply the storm might have hit the station, and they might have lost power. So, but hey, we're good, and all is working. So welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio, the place where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. And I assume that you are part of that since you're listening or want to be part of it, or maybe are halfway in, halfway not in, and want to be more part of that. And that is the natural way. That's the evolution of how things happen. You know, we start opening up to something, we get curious about it. First we might have some resistance, some fears, some doubt, some shyness, thinking we can't do it, all these things, but yet, in our heart, there is something that is calling us, that's talking to us, that's waking up, that wants to live more in the authentic presence that we already are. It's a matter of learning and realizing that, and then remembering that what we are longing for, what we're trying to create, who we are trying to be or become, in reality is already who and what we are. It's already here. It's just that our attention keeps going elsewhere. So if you feel this aliveness, this resonance, this pull in your heart, guess what is pulling? Guess what this resonance is? It's you. It is you. It's the true, real you that's knocking at the door of your own consciousness, of its own consciousness, because there are no two. It's one, it's the same one that is knocking as the one that is hearing. But for a while, it seems like there are two, and that's okay, because we have removed ourselves so far from our true, natural, authentic state and our authentic power that we actually think when we start feeling it inside that it is something else. We often project it as a God, a divine higher self or something, as if there is something outside of ourselves that we are not. And that is just a natural part of evolution. It's perfect the way it is. And it's really good that we are finally learning to listen to that and to pay attention to that and to turning inward instead of outward. This is an important stage of our awakening, of our evolution. So honor that. And don't think that you already need to consciously know that you are that which is knocking. That will happen. The more you listen to this knocking at the door of your consciousness, the bell that's ringing to get your attention, eventually the bell or the knocking will let you know that you are the one doing the ringing and the knocking and the wanting in. Because you, I, we are the ones who have turned away from our true being. And our true being is simply calling itself back. I see this image that we have left our true being to go out and experience what life is like when we pretend that we are separate from life itself. You may have heard of the divine Leela, the divine play, the illusion. You may have heard these expressions. And if you see it as, we often see things as a negative. That's kind of what that mind has been conditioned to when it's separate or when it feels separate. But what if it was just a little exploration and a little experiment just to see what it would be like when we're just separate and do things on our own. And because we are that energy that can do anything it wants, we gave ourselves permission, or it gave itself permission, the energy, the divinity, the expression, life itself gave itself permission to try something totally different. Instead of living in and as oneness, where everything just morphs and flows and everything's just easy and simple, maybe there was a spark inside that wanted to see, wow, what if it were different? What if I pretended for a while that I'm separate from this life, this all, everything, oneness? and just see, just have an experience in life. And that's what we are waking up to, that we are coming back home from our little exploration. It was just a little exploration, and I think it was fun for a while. I have to admit, I enjoyed pretending that I was separate and I could do it myself, and I just want to create my own thing, and I don't want to be connected to anything else, because I want to have the experience of being separate and find out what that is like. And we did, and we could create things, but it was so much hard work, wasn't it? There was so much effort and suffering and pain involved, exhaustion. And I think we've come to the place where we're tired of that. At least I have been there for quite a while, and I keep moving back home, keep moving through the layers of separateness and duality and hard work. Because now I had outlived that. Just as having lived in and as the oneness, it could be fun to try something totally different, such as the opposite of oneness, which is duality. And now the duality has had its time out, we can say. It's been out in the world creating itself as separate. And now it seems that that is coming to the end. And now there is a deeper longing back to oneness, to grace, to peace, to stillness. And if you're anything like me, and I think you are, although you may have your own flavor of it, you will experience a longing inside for something other than what's happening now in life generally. And this is just life itself that now wants to move back into the oneness, into the grace and simplicity. So instead of fighting that and trying to remain in the dual world where there's so much, it's all about efforting and suffering, why not start listening to this inner calling, right? This inner knocking at the door of your consciousness that says something like, oh, I just long for peace and ease and love and unity and all the good things that so many of us are longing for. Why don't we just start listening to that? And instead of resisting it or fighting it, why don't we start allowing a space for this longing to move in the direction that it wants to? Today we're going to start. We're going to talk more about what we have been talking about the last several weeks, which is very much about listening. And the topic today I call "Be Still and Know." And this is a quote from the Bible, and it actually goes, "Be still and know that I am God." And we want to start realizing that this I is the I that we are. There is only one I. And if we can start getting really curious about this thing that we call I, what is this I? Then the I can reveal itself to you, to me, and it will let us know. It will let I know, my I, your I, what it is. That's what I was moved to talk about today. And if you would like to participate in that in any way, I would like to invite you to go to the chat room, the live chat room here on awakenedradio.net/live chat room. You can always just announce yourself, ask a question, or share some insights around it. Or today you can just really be still and just be there, and you can just still say, hi, I'm here and I'm still today or something, just to be part of this. It's really nice to share this stillness with others. It kind of helps the field to grow, the field of stillness, the field of presence. So I would like to invite you into the chat room, and if you have any questions or any comments, I'm always happy to hear from you. You can call in at 334-649-7204. So please come and share yourself. And of course, you're always welcome to go to the forum here on Awaken Radio. And you can share anything you want there. It's a way also to connect with me, Pernilla, the host of Evolutionary Women Radio, and I would love to hear from you. And lastly, you're always welcome to go to my website, which is lillarose.com, LILLAROSE.com. And here we can also communicate after the show if you want to. I would love to hear from you. So, today, be still and know. Be still and know. What does that mean? There is actually a very fine distinction between being still and being still. I don't know if you caught that the way I said it, but there is a very important distinction. Being still is a state of being. It's not something you do as in, oh, I want to be still, for instance, or I'm going to be still now, or something like that. There is an active component to the latter. And although that is an important aspect, that's an important part of it too, in order to get to the place where you realize that stillness is already here. The active part in wanting to be still, or creating a place so I can be still, that is important if we are still very identified with the busyness and the doingness of the mind. And I think that's probably most of us. I can include myself in that. I still have a very busy mind at times, and because I have that, everybody's different. It's really good for me to take time to just be still. That means I can just sit down and drop into the stillness that is right here. There's really nothing I need to do to create the stillness. But what I need to do is to basically undo my engagement with that which is not still. You see the difference there, right? It's simply doing something to create a space where I can just sink into the stillness and then be it. And in the being, there is also an enjoying of it. And once we start getting familiar with our state of being, as stillness, as presence, as being, and there will be a lot more words you can put onto that once you start experiencing it from the inside out. And then instead of wanting that and trying to create your life circumstances so you can have that, which there's nothing wrong with, by the way. I don't want to make it sound like you shouldn't do that. If you're moved to do that, that's fine. But there will be another aspect that comes in just by you being that stillness. You bring it to circumstances instead of trying to create a circumstance where there is stillness, where there is peace. Once you start to realize that this is your natural state and that there is nothing you need to do to create that or make that happen, then it's much easier to disengage from all the busyness, from all the not stillness, right? The lack of stillness that our mind is engaged in. So, by stilling the mind, it's not for the mind to experience something differently. It's more like by stilling the mind, that helps us to turn our attention back inside, where the stillness is already here. And also on the outside, by the way. But when you start experiencing that yourself, it's going to be much easier to articulate it. I don't know if I'm doing so well here. I'm trying to speak about something that in a way is unspeakable, but it's such a precious, precious place that is so easily overlooked. By trying to create a world where there is stillness and peace and love, and again, let's do it for sure. I do it myself, but I'm doing it by being moved and guided by this stillness, by being the stillness, by being the presence. That is the only way that I know how to create change. And as you know, I am kind of a change maker in a way, because I'm doing so many things to really have us all live in a better world, more loving, more peaceful, happy world. So for me, it's not separate. I'm not somebody who just sits in a cave and meditates all day, although there have been times where I have done a lot of that. I mean, a lot, hours and hours a day. So I go through phases of that. Right now, I've actually been in a more active phase for a while. But at the same time, the stillness is always wanting my attention. And I give it my attention. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get too busy in life and I just want to do things. But every single time when I go inside and just check, how can I really be of service? The more I see the craziness of the world and learn about things that are being revealed and uncovered and exposed, the only thing that makes sense to me is the same every time. To be still. To be still. To be the stillness in a world that has no clue what stillness is. So in that sense, just by being it, I bring it there. And I don't have to go out in the world and do something, but I can really just sit at home and really let myself be taken and consumed by this stillness. And when I do that, I know that I am bringing something to the world that it needs more than anything. And the reason it needs it is because there is a deep longing for it, because the tide has turned. And instead of going out into doing, expressing duality, busyness, efforting, suffering, the tide has turned. And it's coming back now. And that means that we need to follow that tide in and really start resting and trusting stillness. I was with a teacher many years ago, Joel Goldsmith, and I read a book called Practicing the Presence. And that book totally changed my life. I got in touch with this stillness in a way that I had never even dreamed of or imagined was possible. And it was because I sat down and be still. And the way I did it was by Joel Goldsmith. He would suggest to use a Bible quote because he came from a Christian mystic background. So he used quotes from the Bible. But you can use anything if you're Buddhist, if you're, there's so many. I mean, Zen, or anything. It doesn't even have to be spiritual. If there's something in your life that you have read or heard or it's come to you from within that helps you relax. And I'll talk a little more about that after the break in a few minutes. But let's just think of something. If there's something you know or something you read once, and when you read it, you just felt this relaxation in your body. If you can get in touch with that and say that to yourself just silently inside, and then let that relaxation take you to the next step. For instance, what I used back then was the quote that Joel Goldsmith suggested, and it was, "I and my Father are one." And for some reason, that really did something for me. It was like throwing in the pebble in the lake, and it radiated out, and the answers start coming. You can also say, I and the Divine Mother are one, or I and the divine earth or the beautiful earth are one. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it gives you a sense of peace or relaxation, where something that was holding on to tightness or to efforting, it's almost like that when two arrows hit each other in midair, right? They cancel each other out. And that's what these statements, they can do. They will cancel out an opposing statement that keeps you in tightness, in doing, in thinking, in activity, versus coming back to this place where that's being canceled out by an opposing statement. And what happens then is that you create a space where there is peace, where there is stillness, because this busy mind that was doing its thing before was canceled out by that statement that you used. And then you can just let yourself drop deeper. And then the depth of this relaxation or of this stillness, that can start revealing itself to you. And when that happens, then it starts communicating with you. Then you start connecting with something much deeper than yourself. And when you know that, the more you know this place in you, you will know that you always have access to it. And you can bring that to everything you know. It's a felt sense in your body. It's a real felt experience that's alive and real, and all we need to do is get in touch with that and start allowing it to move us. So you can just allow yourself to connect with that in yourself here as we're going to go on a break. And after the break, I would probably like to lead you into a little meditation to help you fall back into this place in yourself. So we're going to go on a little break here, and I will look forward to being back with you shortly.
And now a word from the Awakened Radio sponsors. In 1993, the Einstein College of Medicine patented a blood electrification device to clean the blood of bacteria and virus droplets. The device was just too cheap and effective and was not implemented in standard medical practice in hospitals. See where that patent has led to. Check out forcemagneticpulsar.com. That is pulsar, spelled with an ER, not AR. forcemagneticpulsar.com. Have you taken part in the prosperity game at the Awakened Radio Network? Visit our homepage, awakenedradio.net. Find out how you can win prizes just by exercising your money muscle. A $1 donation gets you in the drawing every month for prizes that will blow your mind. Check out the prosperity game here on the Awakened Radio Network, awakenedradio.net. Are you looking for a way to get your name in print? Well, we have an answer for you here at Awakened Radio Network. We are publishing Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness Magazine the 20th of every month. If you would like to submit an article, poetry, or artwork, please visit our website, awakenedradio.net. Look at the top where it says Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness Magazine. You will find the information on how to submit an article, poetry, or artwork. There are also information there for you to advertise and get the word out in our magazine that reaches thousands of people globally at very affordable rates. Awakened Radio Network and Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness Magazine are working together with you for a win-win for everyone. Success is a lifestyle.
Welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Thank you for joining and listening. This is your host, Pernilla Little-Rose, and this show is brought to you by Women Standing for Love. Welcome back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you had a nice little break, and maybe you started connecting with this stillness inside, or maybe engaging with it, have a curiosity about it. Before I just lead you into a small meditation, I want to just share what actually, what I really learned something very valuable when I read Joe Goldsmith's books and listened to his tapes. And this was way back, and he actually passed away in the 60s, so I never got to meet him, but he has a lot of books and tapes and study groups and tape groups all around the world to this day. And he had a profound influence on my awakening and embodiment experience and journey. So what I learned, one of the things I learned was to not react in the face of any, discord or problem or something dramatic happening in my life. And it took me years. This was not an overnight thing I learned. But I started practicing that instead of reacting from my emotional body. I didn't know about my emotional body back then. Now I can use that word, which will make it easier for all of us to know what I'm talking about. So instead of reacting from the emotional body to anything that's going on in my life that might not be quote unquote good or nice, I just learned to kind of fall back and be still. It was almost like practicing to not react. And that is not the same as denying or repressing or rejecting. It was still an allowing of what actually was going on. So I was not trying to pretend it wasn't there. I was just learning to curb my emotional response to it. And what I learned over time was that it was actually the emotional response that went out and glued onto this seeming outer event and fed it. So by learning to not react in the face of whatever was going on, I learned to instead go inside and just be present with it. So it was as if I created a space of allowing for whatever was happening. And as you know, as I've talked about so often, when we learn to allow, we create a space where we are not resisting. Allowing, as long as, I'm going to say it this way, as long as we are resisting anything, we are putting energy into something we don't want. And I'm happy to say that every single week, because it's so important to really get that anything you resist, you put your energy into it and you actually keep it alive. It stays alive and well, and it grows because you are the one putting energy into it. So I would say what I learned, the non-reacting, was actually learning to stop resisting it. And instead, let that resistance in me just complete itself. Because it's in all of us. We can't help it. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't serve us anymore. That's kind of where we're getting to. It's because we don't want to play that game of resisting, and creating a life that we don't want. We want to start creating a life that is motivated from our heart and from our deepest longing. So here's an incident, right, that might look terrible. I mean, it can be anything. It could be driving on the freeway and there's a car crash. It can be watching something online or on TV where, people are starving. I mean, it can be anything. And it could be something in your work situation where your boss is not treating you well. Whatever it is, it will bring up a reaction of resistance, because nobody likes that. And I'm not saying you should like it. That's not what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying you should ignore it. That's also not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about allowing your reaction that is natural, because nobody wants to see suffering and pain. When we really become conscious of it, we don't want it. When we're unconscious of it, we're actually participating in it. So there must still be something in us that wants it, unless we really don't know what else to do. But here we are, whatever the situation is, now instead of going in there resisting it, now you allow your feelings to come up. You just allow them. And again, you don't engage necessarily with your feelings either. You can listen to them, because there might be wisdom in them, for sure. There is something that says, this is not okay, this is not right. But there's something bigger when you just allow this feeling to be there without engaging. You see, listening is just being open to it. Engaging is either trying to get rid of it or fight it or, get lost in it. So we're learning to disengage, to allow our own reactions. Then, when we're not putting all our attention in our reactions and our resistances, then we create a space of being, of allowing, of stillness. And this is the place that we can go to any time. So learning to unhook from the resisting and learning to allow instead, that is the space we create, where we can focus on, what is here? When I'm not focusing on trying to change or judge or criticize or grasp for in the outside world. This is the place we can always come back to. So let's take a deep breath. Let's just take in the words that I've shared here. And take a deep breath. And just let yourself sink into your present experience right now. Take another breath. And just do your best to just allow whatever is here right now to be here. Whether there is a reaction to something that's going on in your life, or it's something that's happening internally. It could be a physical issue, an emotional issue, a mental issue, something that seems to be going on internally that we always want to battle. Just for a moment, let's take a breath together and breathe into the sensations of whatever discomfort is happening. Just breathe into it and see what is different when you just allow it. Just breathe into it. Make space for it. And if you really notice that you're resisting it, and it's hard to not resist, just breathe into the resistance too. Don't even try and not resist. If resistance is happening, you can't help it. But the more you can take, a backward step and just observe it more, instead of being lost in it, it's just like you create a little more space around it by stepping back energetically. And then you can just observe that there is resistance here. So just let that resistance resist. Just allow it. Allow the resistance. And just see what happens when you don't resist what you don't like. When you don't resist your own resistance. You don't resist your own reaction. But now we're going to create a space to just let it be here. Just allow it. Breathe into it. And even though this is a short meditation, it's still enough to give you a sense of what is here. When your mind is not engaged in trying to change and fix and resist and get rid of something, just think of all the energy that we are so trained and accustomed to putting into what we don't want. Right? It's like your energy goes in and grasps, holds on to it. So now I want to ask you to just release the grasp. You can almost imagine that you were holding on to it with your hands, with your fists, because you didn't want it, right? You push it away. So just take a breath in here and then gently release your grip, either from the resisting or the grasping. And then see what is left. What is here when your energy is not focused on trying to get rid of something? What is here when you just allow things? Do you notice something starts to relax a little bit? That the energy that was so focused on changing and resisting and getting rid of, when you release that energy, it gives you an opportunity to just fall back on yourself for a moment. And just allow it. Take a breath. And see if you can start sensing into this space that we can call a space of allowing. What is it like to not resist for a moment? Just for a moment. If it's hard to let it all go, that's fine, but just try for a moment to take your hands off the resisting, wanting to change, wanting to get rid of energy. Take your hands off and rest back a little bit, and it's almost like you can observe the thing you wanted to change or get rid of. Now you have a little more perspective because you are not in there with your hands. You're sitting back. You can imagine you're in a theater watching a movie, right? You don't have your hands on the screen. You're sitting back, you're relaxing, and you're just watching it all. What is it like to just allow and observe instead of being in there trying to change? And from here, now you can rest back even more, or even maybe turn your attention back on yourself into this space of allowing that's here now. And then you can get curious about that space. What is that? What is here when I'm not trying to change anything? What is here? What is here when my mind is not engaged in doing, changing, grasping, pushing away, criticizing? What is left? So let yourself take a breath in, back, into your seat almost, right? Into this place that is, oh, I'm just too lazy to have to try and resist it all. Give yourself a little space to just be lazy and just observe it. And like, oh, I can't be bothered to do anything about it. I just want to, for a moment, let it be. What happens? And just notice if you start experiencing a little more relaxation, a little more peace, a little less engagement. And then you start getting curious about this space that is here, that is created just by you not engaging in trying to change something. Then you start getting a different perspective that, oh, there is something else going on. Yes, there is all this craziness going on in my life and the world. And there is actually also something else here that I completely overlooked because I was so busy trying to change what's out there. So take a breath into this new space. Maybe it's not so new for you, but just this moment again, just take a breath into this space. And then the more you put your attention here, you will either start getting some insights, some inspiration, some guidance, some ideas, something that will make you either do something or not do something. It can go either way. Maybe just realizing that being this stillness, being still, you see, that's where you are not trying to do or be something. You're realizing, oh, this stillness is here when I stop engaging in all the busy doing. So let me take a breath into this and just enjoy my natural being still. It's a state of being. It is a natural state of being, of who you are. Nothing needs to be different here. From here you might be inspired to take an action. You know, the action could be something like maybe go to some kind of a town hall meeting where they are talking about something that's really important to change in your community. And instead of getting totally involved when you're there, you'll notice that just being still and sitting there as part of the audience, you will start feeling the impact that has. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to do anything, although you may. You will know in a moment. But I just want to give you the opportunity to realize that many times just being still in any kind of situation can be very, very transforming. Sometimes you will notice it. Sometimes the results are obvious. Many times they're not. But what I have learned and in myself, and I have actually also gotten that feedback from somebody I really respect a lot, that when I am that, and I am that a lot, he could see that that actually has an impact on the unconsciousness, on the human psyche, the universal consciousness, on unconsciousness. Just by being that, that goes and penetrates a lot of the human consciousness, which needs to be raised to a higher level of consciousness if we want to make a difference in the world. You may have heard Einstein say that a problem cannot be solved at the same level it was created. I know it's become very popular. Joel Goldsmith was actually somebody who said that already back in the 50s and 60s. And I read it first time, it's about, over 30 years ago or something. And when you start realizing that it is our consciousness that needs to be raised to a higher level of frequency. And the way we do that is by being still, by being present. That helps raise everybody's consciousness. And again, it may not be obvious right away, but little by little, people are being touched inside and they don't even know what happened. There's suddenly more awareness maybe about what they're doing. They may suddenly leave a meeting realizing something about themselves, the way they engage, that they were not aware of before, and they may start doing things differently. And that could very well be because you just went there to be still. And that stillness, that consciousness is much higher than in emotional consciousness. And when I say higher, I don't want to make it sound like it's good or bad or better or worse. It's just a higher frequency. And a higher frequency seems to attune lower frequencies to it. So that these things may happen and you may never know what impact it has had. But you will know inside that this actually feels totally right. You can feel the impact of just being still. Being as a state of being. Being still as a state of being where you don't need to do anything. And yet, action can very well come from that. And it could be that you just were moved to go to this meeting and just be there. But it could also be that you're moved to go to this meeting and share something. Maybe there is a pearl of wisdom that's coming out of this being still, because that seems to happen all the time. That's where the true heart wisdom can come from. So I want to really invite you to explore this more in yourself, this place of being. And the less we engage in the world, the more we learn to not react, but to just allow the reaction to be here and then let it transform on its own in our space of being, of allowing. That's where real transformation takes place. And it's a process. It can be a lifelong process to really learn that. But so what? What else is there to do? We are asked to help raise the consciousness by being it, not by going out there and trying to make people aware or, da-da-da. No. It comes from being it. And then it may just share itself, just very gently, very simple. And some people may hear it, and some people may sense it, but that is really not my business, our business, to know what's going to happen, because then we leave it again and go out in the world trying to change something, wanting people to get it, for instance. Then we're out in the world again. So it's just a matter of learning to keep coming back, to learn to not react, but instead of letting our not suppressing the reaction, but allowing the reaction. And in this space of allowing, the reaction can start dissolving, transforming, softening, and it makes space for something new. It just is how it works. I do teach meditation and mindfulness at UCSC here in Santa Cruz, and I created a 6 CD set where I go over these specific aspects to help you how to be present with these places, how to listen to them, how to not engage in them, and finally to find out, well, who and what is this space of allowing. And so it's a very practical, step-by-step way to really start experiencing this state of being, this beingness, because that's what I'm about, and everything I do is to help us come back to this place of stillness and being, and then just walk around in the world as that. And it will guide you where you need to go. The more we can learn to listen and be it, then the flow of energy of that state of being, will guide us naturally. So it's just a matter of learning to listen. Well, that was a fun little time we had here together. I really enjoyed that, because this is one of my big passions, is the stillness, the presence, and the love. And I love to share that with anybody who is interested in that. So please check it out, and please go to my website if you want to find out more about it. My website is lillarose.com, spelled LILLAROSE.com. And I would love to hear from you. You're always welcome to send me a little comment, a little hello, question, anything to connect. I'm happy, so feel free to use that. And if you have any questions, or if you want to take it one level deeper, you can also always sign up for a free discovery session with me if you want to explore this more, because boy, we can certainly spend a lot of time, all of us individually, to really get to this place so we can live it fully. And that's what I would like for you too. So great. All right, and here's a little message from Teresa. Really lovely, Pernilla. I love listening to this. Great. Thank you so much, Teresa. Lovely to have you here today. My friends, wishing you all a beautiful day and a happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you bring the stillness into this place where gratitude is naturally there. So we'll see you next week. Much love to you all. Bye-bye. Open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened. Come and join our love. It's so right. If you could feel what we